Recording in progress.
Welcome in to the latest episode of the Betting Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Real_G Warner. On today, whatever it is, episode, we are going through the Europa League final match day of the league phase. We're going to find some best bet winners. We're going to deliver that in hopefully a YouTube short and an Instagram reel. I just need to make sure I have time to actually make it today. Unfortunately, yesterday, Champions League was very, very busy, but as I'm rearranging the camera, hopefully not destroying everything in my apartment, but here we are. Let's get into it. I don't know if that helped. Hopefully it did. And let's start in the Europa League because we're going through the entire match day all right about now on our lunch hour before we get closer to kickoff, starting off pretty soon. We'll start with Panathinaikos. They are hosting AS Roma, which that's why I was angling the camera a little bit because I have a Roma scarf behind me. If you're watching Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. Of course, comments are also great. Have them read by our co-hosts on this network. We have college basketball coming up this weekend with Big East Ben. The Need for Seeds returned to YouTube. Still haven't lost best bet since. We were a double best bet winner last episode too. Also, the NFL podcast, we would do a Super Bowl episode. And if you get enough comments in there, we'll look into doing a Super Bowl props episode as well with Aiden Schwarzenegger. But back to this matchup, we'll go Panathinaikos, 3/4 goal underdogs at home. All the juice on Roma, as Roma have been getting bet ever since I've been tracking these numbers. Total in this one has fallen and is still currently at 2 with a lot of juice to over. And I'm going to go through the permutations of where these teams are in the standings. So Roma are currently in 6th position on 15 points. Top 8 advance and get a bye. Top 24 advance the knockout stages. Panathinaikos are currently sitting in 19th position on 11 points. The last position currently is Celtic on 8. Ludogorets are on 7. So Panathinaikos cannot be caught. They can be caught, but they can't be passed. So they have advanced, basically. So that's good for them. It probably makes their fight a little bit different, especially facing one of the best teams in this competition. And, of course, Roma from Serie A in Italy, a much bigger league than Greece. But Panathinaikos, they do have an outside shot potentially at getting 8th position. Well, they didn't need to win, and everyone above them basically needs to lose. So that's probably not going to happen. So probably Panathinaikos don't have a lot to go for in this matchup. Maybe that's why they're bigger underdog than I made it. I'm not sure there's enough here for me until we get a full +1. So I'll move on to the next matchup on our list. We'll go down to Go Ahead Eagles hosting Sporting Braga. Currently, Go Ahead Eagles are They are a full goal underdog right now at home. They have not been very good in this competition, but Sporting Braga have been pretty good, honestly. Better than I've expected them. One of the underachievers, I feel like, even from back in their Champions League days. But currently Braga, they are sitting in 5th position on 16 points. They are in great shape to move through. Of course, they've already clinched that, but to also stay in the top 8, they're in pretty good position there as well. Can be caught, but only really Porto, look on the outside, can pass them from the 9 through 24 advancers. So the Go Ahead Eagles side, they are currently sitting in 30th on 6 points. They have a shot to get in. So this matters a lot to Go Ahead Eagles. They need to win. They're probably going to be very aggressive to try to seek that victory. That does worry me because they are one of the weaker teams in this competition, sitting 30th out of 36 today. And with a -8 goal differential, allowing 14 goals in 7 matches. That's not great. They've only scored 6. That's not great either. But big underdog, far bigger than I made it, and at home. That's probably my biggest interest in that matchup, the +1 in there. We'll go next to FCSB in Bucharest. Currently, FCSB, a full 1-goal underdog at home to Fenerbahce of Turkey. Total this one is 2 3/4, juice all the way to over. So Fenerbahce, they are currently 18th in the league phase standings on 11 points. They can not be caught, so they've already clinched. They could find a way into the top 8. That seems fairly unlikely as well. I don't know how much motivation there is on that side. FCSB, on the other hand, they are in 29th position on 6 points, can qualify with a win, and that's probably the way I'm leaning, especially because they have a full goal of insurance next to their name. And honestly, Fenerbahce don't have a lot to need to I guess they don't have a ton to play for. I would think that they'd be more focused on Turkey League this weekend and rotate quite a bit because they're already advanced. It's unlikely they will get to the knockout phase on a bye. Again, guess we'll see when lineups come out in about 30 minutes. We'll move next to VfB Stuttgart of the German Bundesliga. 2.25 goal favorites right now at home to BSC Young Boys Bern of Switzerland. Right now, spread is 2.25. All the juice right now on Young Boys. Total in this one is 3.5, and it's juiced very heavily to over. So they're expecting goals in this matchup. Stuttgart have the firepower, of course, and want to play a very attacking game. They're on 12 points, currently sitting in 13th position. Could find a way to the top 8, so that is of some importance to them. Young Boys sitting in 23rd out of 24 teams that advance. 2 points ahead of Ludogorets, so could be caught and overtaken by them if everything breaks in Ludogorets' way. Feyenoord, Basel, Salzburg, FCSB all on 6. So they could be tied. Then it'll probably come down to goal differential. Their Young Boys are on a -5. Most of the rest of those other teams around them are better and would need to win, while Young Boys would lose. So they're in a little bit of danger here, and are big underdogs. And the question is, can Young Boys compete? I'm not sure. And clearly the market doesn't believe it. Moving next to Tel Aviv, or I guess a neutral site for Maccabi Tel Aviv as the quote-unquote host. Bologna are a 1.5 favorite in that neutral site. Almost all the juice right now is on the Italians. Yeah, it's been betting, and the Italians have been getting bet slightly. A few cents have changed in terms of juice here. Total in this one is 3, juice all the way to under. Bologna have been really good. They've been suffering, I think, from playing a lot of big matches all in this really tight calendar. I guess their depth is being tested more so than anything. They're on 12 points right now, sitting in 15th position. Could find a way to the top 8, and that's certainly what they're looking for. Maccabi Tel Aviv are in last position. I'm not backing them because, honestly, there might be more people betting, rooting, voting against Maccabi Tel Aviv and their Israel connections than anything at this point. Moving next to Sturm Graz, a 1/4 goal underdog at home to Bran. Wow, I'm a little bit surprised that Sturm Graz are home underdog, but here we are. I might have even been so surprised that I wrote this down initially when I was tracking this incorrectly. Total in this one's 2.5, and it's used very heavily to under. I'm going to put some strike throughs because I might be wrong on where this number was. But Sturm Graz at home, that's of interest to me. Let's see how much they have to play for. So going to the Europa League standings, currently Sturm Graz in 31st position on 4 points, cannot qualify. That's a good explanation. Bran, on the other side, they're in 22nd position on 9 points, only -1 goal differential so far this competition. A win keeps them in this dance going forward. Draw, and then they're in danger, can be overtaken by Celtic, can then be matched by Ludogorets. Loss can be overtaken and all those sort of things. So I don't know. I mean, that market is clearly showing that Sturm Graz is not going to care about this matchup. They've had a lot of struggles ever since Christian Elza has left for TSG Hoffenheim in the German Bundesliga, and honestly looked really stupid, like a bad move last season, but he's looked really great so far this year. Move next to Lyon, hosting PAOK in the southeastern side of France. Currently, Lyon a 1/4 goal favorite right now. A little bit more juice on the PAOK side. Looks like the total in this one is 2.75, and it's juiced pretty heavily to under. Lyon have had an incredible season despite the transfer ban, though I guess they did bring some players. We'll see what happens and what they change. They're tops of the Europa League on 6 wins and a single loss. It's been a great run for them. PAOK on 12 points in 12th position are in a great place. They cannot miss the tournament, so they've already advanced, but they certainly want to try to get top 8. That looks unlikely, and it's a pretty big underdog on the road. Actually, only a 1/4 goal underdog on the road, so not that big. But we'll see what Lyon's lineup looks like because they don't have a lot to play for. Moving next to Genk, hosting Malmo. Currently, Genk a 1.75 goal favorite. All the juice on the Malmo side, and that's climbed from 1.5 just this morning. Total in this one is 3.25, and juice is split both ways. So no real indicator or this number will move, though we've seen some over money hit because it was initially juiced pretty heavily to under. Malmo have not been great in this competition. They're currently sitting in 35th on 1 point and are eliminated. As for the other side, they are playing Genk. Genk is currently a Belgian club. They are in 10th position on 13 points, certainly are seeking a top 8 place and have a great position to be at home against one of the worst teams in this competition. That looks great for them. Moving next to Celtic, hosting Utrecht. Currently, Celtic a 1.25 goal favorite with all the juice on the home team, and looks like it's also climbing. Currently, we're getting odds on Utrecht. Total in this one is 2.75, and it's juiced more to the under. And that actually total has not moved since I've been watching it this morning. In terms of where the teams are in the standings, we have Celtic in 24th position, the last ones to advance on -4 goal differential, but on 8 points, 1 point ahead of Ludogorets, 2 ahead of Feyenoord and others. In terms of, as my phone rings in the background, of course, can never get away from that. But Utrecht, they are in 34th position on 1 point and are eliminated. So that's not great. I don't know that I want much to do with a team that's already eliminated and has looked so poor in this competition so far. Moving next to Ludogorets, they are a 3/4 goal favorite at home to Nice. Big surprise, but Nice have been horrible in this competition, so maybe nothing is a surprise at this point. Total in this one is 2.75, and it's juiced more to the over. It's been sticking that way this whole time. Ludogorets, one of the weaker teams, I thought, in this competition from Bulgaria, but have outperformed Nice. Nice currently in 33rd position on 3 points. They are eliminated, cannot advance. Ludogorets are a point behind the advance area, and if Celtic lose and Ludogorets draw, they'll have a better goal differential, so they should advance. So there's a lot to play for Ludogorets. Much bigger favorite than I expected, but Nice probably playing all the kids or playing nobody, and that also sets up pretty well for Ludogorets in their last matchup of this campaign. Michelin then host Dinamo Zagreb in Denmark. Currently, Dinamo Zagreb, a half of a goal underdog away from home, which says something for a Danish minnow. Total in this one's 2.75, and it's juiced heavily to under. Let's see where everyone is in the table. Currently, Dinamo Zagreb are on 20th position on 10 points, and they are in some danger of being caught by Ludogorets, but a draw, and they are through. As for the other side, Michelin, they are currently, if I could find them, they are doing really well in this competition. Now that I remember, they're in 4th on 16 points, 5 wins in 7 matches. It's pretty impressive. They are in pretty good shape. Porto could pass them with a victory and a Michelin loss, but a lot of other teams would have to get past them as well. So they look pretty good to potentially get through an automatic berth into the round of, I guess it would be 16. Currently, they are pretty big favorites, but deserve to be. Dinamo Zagreb, I think, is a more interesting side to me because Michelin have less to play for, but they probably want to clinch and make sure that they're 2 rounds further in this competition, or at least 2 matches further in this competition, so they might play their best. Moving next to Basel, hosting Victoria Plzeň. Currently, Basel, a quarter goal favorite right now with all the juice. Total in this one was high earlier and still 3, juiced very heavily to over. That reflects to me a Basel team that has a lot of stars in it. The Victoria Plzeň side are, I think, one of the best defenses across the world, at least versus expectations. They are still unbeaten in this competition, 2 wins, 5 draws on 11 points. They are clinched into the next round, so they're in good position there. Maybe that's a little bit explaining why they're such a big underdog. Maybe not that big, but Basel to me have not been impressive. Currently, Basel on 6 points could get a victory and hop ahead of Celtic if they lose and get into the log jam on 9 points. So they probably need some help. They need a victory. I'm not really a believer in Basel at this point. I haven't really been impressed. I want to make sure a Victoria Plzeň lineup is good before I play it, though. Next, we'll go to Porto hosting Rangers. Currently, Porto 1.75 goal favorites with all the juice. Total in this one is 3.25, and it's used pretty heavily to under. So Rangers have been a disaster. Have been through multiple managers, I think. They're currently on 4 points in 31st and are eliminated. So sad. That's probably why they're such a big underdog. As for Porto, they've been great. They are currently in 9th position on 14 points. They need to get into the top 8 in order to get and secure that bye. And they're playing a great team to do it. And they've been playing and honestly got a lot of respect so far in this competition. Probably not a lot for me in that matchup. Moving next to Nottingham Forest hosting Ferencváros. Currently, Nottingham Forest, a 3/4 goal favorite with all the juice. Total in this one is a healthy 2.5 for a Sean Dyche managed matchup. Ferencváros of Hungary, they are in 7th position on 15 points. Have been great in this competition. Nottingham Forest have been through multiple managers, but are on 11 points and are clinched into the next round. I'm curious if we see some rotation here. I think biggest interest for me is under 2.5. Move next to Feyenoord. They're visiting Real Betis and La Cartuja in Sevilla, Spain. Currently, Betis a 1 goal favorite with more juice slightly more on the Feyenoord side. It's coming down a little bit, though, as some Bettis money has been coming in this morning. Total in this one is 3.5, and it's juiced a little bit more to under. Bettis are a goal scoring team. They try to create. I really like them especially as an underdog. They are not one here though, and they're a big favorite. Feyenoord on the other side, they are currently sitting in 26th position, 2 points behind the last, so they need to get a victory. No ifs and buts about it. It's probably why the total's so high, above 3.5 right now, or 3.5 bigger than the 3 I was expecting. Real Betis on the other side, they're in 8th position, the last by protected position. They got something to play for too. And generally, I think Manuel Pellegrini has done great at balancing playing in La Liga in Spain and doing well enough to qualify for European competitions and then doing well in them. Moving next to Crvena Zvezda. They are hosting Celta de Vigo in Belgrade, Serbia. Currently, Crvena Zvezda are a quarter goal favorite right now with almost all the juice on Celta de Vigo. Total is 3, and it is juiced very heavily to under. So when I see a big Spanish team like Celta de Vigo, underdogs away from home to a European side, I generally look that way. Currently, Celta on 12 points in 14th position. They are, let's see, where is Crvena Zvezda in this thing? They are behind, because the Crvena are in 11th position on 13 points. They've been great in this competition. I don't think anyone really expected that. I do like Celta Vigo essentially earned their way to Europa League despite fighting relegation the last 5 years. It felt like through a lot of depth that they sold, and I've been kind of trying to figure out who they were since then. I do think we're at a point in the season, though, where it's been long enough. I'm interested in the road underdog in that matchup. So the next match will go to Red Bull Salzburg visiting Aston Villa in Birmingham of the English Premier League. Currently, Aston Villa 1.5 goal favorite. Almost all the juice is on the Salzburg side, and that's been climbing from a 1.25 earlier today. Total in this one, and as it drops again, a little bit more money coming in on Villa. Not surprised, because UK money always dominates this competition and most in the soccer landscape. Currently, total is 3.25, juice more to the over, and that's a little bit. I mean, it's large to me considering Aston Villa's great defense, so they certainly can score some goals. Red Bull Salzburg have not been great in any European competition over the years. Currently, Salzburg on 6 points, have a shot to get in here. They need to win though, so I feel like they've been more conservative under this manager, but I don't know that they've really got the talent, or they sold a lot of it and haven't really replenished it at the same rate, which is probably why Red Bull Leipzig have been struggling as well. Last but not least, before we get to ultimate best bet, we have Lille, a 0.5 goal favorite right now. All the juice is on Sport Club Freiburg, because I guess buried the lead wearing the kit today. Total in this one is 2.5, and it's juiced pretty heavily to under. Two really good clubs across Europe that I love to back. Lille are sitting in 21st position on 9 points, so they're in some danger here. Sport Club Freiburg have been great in this competition. They're currently in 3rd on 17. They can be, I guess, matched if a Porto win occurs and Freiburg lose and everyone below them move forward. But I would imagine Freiburg feel pretty confident about advancing to the knockouts and getting that bye. Lille on their side have a lot to play for. So there's a little bit of an argument that Freiburg might not play their best players. We'll see what that looks like. And if things are going okay, maybe they don't stay out there the whole time, 60 minutes or so, and get off the most important pieces. That would worry me a lot if I'm backing Freiburg here, but I want to see what that lineup looks like in just 20 minutes. And that does it for this, range of games, or this last match day 8 of the Europa League. We will have an ultimate best bet coming in a show. I want to mention my Patreon, patreon.com/real_G-Warner. Best spot for all my plays across all write-ups, everything. Try to get it out there the night before. Today was a little bit later. Went to the Mavericks game last night, but they are horrible. But check that out, patreon.com/real_G-Warner. Download the app, turn on notifications. Every time I lock something in, you'll make sure you get the best price. Other than that, I already mentioned other shows in the Betting Pitch Podcast Network. We have the Need for Seeds college basketball with Big East Ben. That is coming up this weekend. Also have an NFL Super Bowl podcast coming out with Andrew Schwarzenegger soon enough. Maybe a props episode if we get enough likes and 5-star reviews and Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, or subscribers on YouTube. And then I think it's probably now time to get to that ultimate best bet. And I think the answer for me is looking at a club that I think has done a really good job in this competition. Maybe it's not fully deserved based on who they've played and all that sort of stuff. But Ferencváros go on the road to Nottingham Forest. I'm very interested in them playing a complete but also competitive game and really test themselves in the biggest league in soccer league in the world. I think total's gigantic for any match with Sean Dyche. I'm generally looking for goalless draws. And I think he is too. And especially Nottingham Forest is a big favorite. I don't think that's going to fit very well. I think Ferencváros are going to defend, and that puts Nottingham Forest in a weird position. So under 2.5 for my best bet in that episode. And that's how you grade us on this episode. We'll see you next time on the Betting Pitch Soccer Podcast Network.
Recording stopped.
And thanks to everyone that's still here live. You prefer the camera closer. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming in.